reading glasses, so if I
forgot.
hit it, fall off that one. I've done
So,
that, so I'm holding it out here, that's
I've been there, done that.
I go by my iPhone. They
If
never
it gets
lie.
too bad, if you need to borrow these,
Oh,
you can.
thanks. No, I'd really, if I'm out
I'm
here,
a
I'm
little
okay.
ashamed of these, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Ever notice everything falls on your reading glasses?
That's a sign of maturity.
Okay. I'll take that.
It is.
It is, yes.
See what you got to look forward to.
I'm doing pretty good then.
Yep. Well, from where I sit, it looks like about 6 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order and ask Danielle for a roll call, please.
Okay. Randy Jones,
Present.
John Dilberger,
Yes, I'm here.
Darla Brown's absent, Jane Gore,
Here.
Michael Harrison.
Present. Hopefully all my fellow members got a chance to review the minutes as corrected. Anybody have any further corrections to the minutes?
I do.
And I'll move we approve the minutes from last month's meeting as written.
I second.
Roll call vote to approve the minutes when you're ready, Danielle.
Okay. Michael Harrison,
Yes.
John Dilberger,
Yes.
Randy Jones,
Yes.
Jane Gore. Yes.
Okay, minutes are approved. We don't have any old business tonight, so we'll go right to new business. The first item is docket number 26-BAR-02, which is a request for a setback variance. Staff report whenever you're ready, Danielle. I'm sorry. Kayla.
This is staff report for block variance petition. Docket number 26-BAR-02. Hearing date is March 25th, 2026. Petitioner and property owner, Derek Block. Request is a variance from the residential side and rear setback requirement. Ordinance provisions, section 4.6E and C, standard setbacks of the Brown County zoning ordinance. Location, the property is located on WS 155 and WS 156 of Sweetwater Lake Edition, Plat 61, more commonly known as 6430 Oriole Drive in Hamlin Township within the Cordray Sweetwater Conservancy District. The property is located on the east side of Oriole Drive, approximately 700 feet northeast of the intersection with Sweetwater Drive. Zoning and current land use. The property is zoned Lake Residential, LR, and has an existing residence and detached garage. General findings. 1, the petitioner is requesting approval of variances from the side and rear setback requirements. 2, the Brown County zoning ordinance, section 4.6C, and the rules of the Cordray Sweetwater Conservancy District provide that the minimum aggregate width of both side yards for residential use is 25 feet. This petition is requesting approval of an aggregate of a total of 14 feet 6 inches. 3, the Brown County zoning ordinance, section 4.6B, states that the minimum depth of rear yard for a residential use is 15 feet in GB or AB district and 25 feet in any other district in which the use is permitted. This petition is requesting approval of a rear setback of 16 feet 7.5 inches. 4, the property is located outside the special flood hazard area according to the flood insurance rate maps. 5, the petitioner has received approval of a 3-bedroom septic system from the Indiana Department of Health that has several conditions listed. 6, water service is provided to the property by Cordray Sweetwater Conservancy District. 7, South Central Indiana REMC provides electric service to the property. 8, according to the site plan, the setback distance requirements for the front and left side will be met. 9, there are many examples of reduced setbacks within the Cordray Sweetwater Conservancy District. There it goes. The board may grant a variance with respect to specific property if, after conducting a hearing under section 7.2 of the Brown County zoning ordinance, it finds that, 1, there are special circumstances relating to the property that do not generally affect other property or uses of the same kind in the same district and vicinity. 2, the special circumstances create hardship in that if the variance is not granted, a substantial property right that is enjoyed by other properties in that district and vicinity cannot be enjoyed. 3, the granting of the variance will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to other property or uses in that district and vicinity. Summary. The board must decide whether granting the requested side and rear setback variances will be materially injurious to other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. And this is looking southeast from the driveway, northwest from the driveway. Existing front setback to the garage. The existing home to be demolished. This is the south/right side existing setback. North/left side existing setback. Again, the north and left, just from further up the hill there. And then again, the purple squares are approved variances. This red line on this that you guys have in your packet, this indicates where the house would have to be on the property to meet the setbacks. So the 25 from the rear, 10, and then 15 and 50 from the front.
Got it.
And then this is the site plan that you guys have, oops, in your packet as well.
Okay. Thanks, Kayla. Could you go back to that aerial view of the existing house? Yes, that one. That looks like it probably doesn't meet the setback requirements either, does it?
It looks like it does not. I'm wondering though if these are not, if the property lines aren't skewed on our GIS.
So we really can't be sure about that.
And the reason I say that is because from this map, from this print here, the house that, I believe the house that is, no, I'm sorry, that would be the new house there.
So,
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah, Dave just pointed out, you can see that the sidewalk is
Yes.
outside of the property line here.
yes, I see. So that white line probably isn't overlaid correctly, like you said.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions from the board for Kayla?
So there's an existing home there now, or structure now, it's going to be demolished?
Yes.
Okay.
How about cards?
There were 22 sent out on this one and 15 were returned to us.
Okay, great, thanks. All right. Is the petitioner here tonight? Yes, sir. Would you like to add anything to Kayla's staff report or want to share anything with us?
Sure, no,
Yeah, just go up to the microphone, identify yourself for our recorded minutes, and let us hear what you have to say.
I'm Derek Block, the owner, and actually the house next door to it I currently own,
Oh, okay.
the one grid. I do have this illustration here. It's the same as that aerial illustration.
Yeah.
The thing I'd point out in here, and the architect helped me point it out, is the left side of the yard. That is over the setback line right now, the existing house, and then the garage is well beyond the existing setback.
Oh, I see what you mean. The existing garage is shown.
That's right.
on this. Yeah, I see what you mean. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead. Oh,
That's really the only thing I wanted to point out. I didn't hear.
Okay, thanks for that. So did you consider trying to find a house plan that would fit in the setback requirements?
We didn't really know the setback requirements when we started the process.
Okay,
But most of the lots down there, if you see, they're pie-shaped lots or odd-shaped.
yeah, we see a lot of them up here over
Yeah.
the years.
So I haven't gone back to, we're probably way too far down the process as we were going.
Right.
But a rectangle house is probably going to be what we'd look to do anyway. We've been going at this for a little over a year.
Got it, okay. I mean, it looks like a nice house, it just looks too big for the lot, but that's just because of the way the lot lies, but, and the size of, the overall size of the lot, but,
Yeah, understood.
yeah, okay. Thanks. Any other questions from the board for the petitioner?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you about your on-site sewage system. The approval letter is dated before your preliminary plan. Now, there might have been some overlap. Have you looked at where this sewage system is going to go? You've got 1,500 feet of piping, you got all these tanks, you got a lift station. The only place I see to fit it is downhill from the house, and there's some pretty severe restrictions on building this thing because of the water.
Yes.
And I've got concerns of where you're going to fit this and if it's going to be functional.
We purchased the property across the street. We worked with Ernie Reed on this. So we purchased the property across the street. We've had a full septic plan done by Cruise Consulting, Dale Cruz. So, and Ernie's gone through it all and approved it. We already have a septic permit.
But have you overlaid that system with your site and the house that you have to know that it's going to fit?
Yeah, they have. Ernie's been involved in this. He's seen the house plans and he's seen all of it.
Who has seen all of it?
Ernie Reed.
And he's who?
The Brown County Health Department. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Sorry.
Well, if I can, Mike, did you have anything else that you want to follow up on that? I'm a little intrigued here. I noticed that you went through IDOH to get the approval for this type of a system, septic system. And it looks like what you're putting in, and I'm assuming this is somewhat of a, I'm not sure what's the proper, I don't want to use the word unusual. You're going with a subsurface drip system and an EcoPod fixed film water waste treatment system. So this is some type of a not common type of system is the reason you went through IDOH, when I say that, I mean Indiana Department of Health. Do you know anything about that?
No, I mean, really what I did is I reached out to the health department when I started the project. Ernie recommended that we get an architect involved, a system architect involved, which we did. So I was really it's really foreign to me. I don't.
Okay.
But I followed their advice and.
Yeah. Well, usually it's probably an alternative design system is what it is. And that's probably why it went through IDOH instead of just handled here locally through the county health department. But you're not involved in that, are you?
No, I mean, the thing I remember is when I talked to Cruise Consulting at Ernie's direction, we knew it had to go to the state for approval, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, and that's probably because it would be considered an alternative design system.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
You mentioned that you own the property beside this. It looks like from my diagram that you own the property, on your side the setback is met, it's on the other side that you don't own where the setback variance is requested. Is that right?
Well, they're on both sides. There's a back corner on the side I own.
Oh yeah, there's a rear setback variance, but the side setback variance is on the side toward your neighbors.
That's right.
On the opposite sides, not on your side.
That's right.
Okay, just checking. Okay. Any other questions for the petitioner? Okay, I don't see any, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anybody here tonight that wants to speak in favor of this petition? How about anybody that wants to speak against the petition? I don't see anybody, so I think I'll bring this back to us on the board to discuss and decide about. Anybody want to share their thoughts on this? Go ahead, Jim.
Well,
Or anybody.
it's not a perfect world, because of the location. We've been through this before, with that area, which is very restrictive in many cases for any kind of expansion. But it certainly is not unprecedented, by any stretch of the imagination. And, personally, I have no real concerns with it at this point in time.
Okay.
I would ask is, how is this any different than the similar one we looked at last month?
I don't know that it is different in most ways, just that they're not asking for a variance from the height requirement, but, just for the side and rear setback requirements.
Personally, I would think the height setback is the least intrusive of all of it.
Is at least what, Mike?
The least intrusive, yeah. I got you. No, you're right, we had one of these last month.
That one was 2 side setbacks,
Right,
and this one is side and rear.
right. Technically, yes, different in that respect.
Yes.
Yep, I agree. I don't know, Jane, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think all those cards that were sent out, if anybody was, any neighbors were objecting, they would have shown up.
That's kind of where I was going to
And
as well.
I mean, there's just tons of setback issues up there that have been approved, so I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with putting a new home on here. I'm conscious that we routinely approve these, and the special circumstances relating to this property that don't exist for other properties in the vicinity or the district are hard for me to come by, because these same special circumstances exist for all the properties. There's nothing different about this property than every other one of those lake lots. And so we've routinely let people put on homes that are larger and exceed setback requirements, or don't meet setback requirements because the lots are small and triangular, and
Yeah,
and there
that's
you
true.
go.
That's true.
I don't know, frankly, that it fully complies with our ordinance for us to do it, but we always do. That's just my thinking. And I'm inclined to do it here too, so that's where I am. But it may be something we want to think about clarifying our position on down the road.
Yeah. This just keeps coming back.
It does keep coming back. And if we quit, I don't want to say rubber stamping, that's not quite, but it's close to that. If we decide to quit rubber stamping these, then the first person who gets hit with that is going to be very unhappy.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to make Mr. Block be the first person tonight, so. So I'm going to move that we approve docket number 26-VAR-02.
I'm second the motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. Roll call vote, please, Danielle.
Okay, Michael Harrison,
No,
Randy Jones,
Yes.
Jane Gore,
Yes.
John Delberger.
Yes. All right, your request has been approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll get you an approval letter and then you can apply for your building permit.
Thank you.
Were you persuaded by my discussion, or do you have your own reasons for voting, though?
I just feel like building, it's like what you talked about last week, you started from scratch. I think you do a better job about making that. I have a lot of concern about fit the sewage system in, whether you're gonna go with that. I don't feel like they've taken that and laid it out there. The permit talks about maintaining the dryness of the soil, and downhill from the house and all the other construction.
Yeah.
I just think that's problematic.
You may be right. If so, they're gonna find out very soon.
Yeah.
Can I add on to that
Sure.
comment? Yeah, this is an alternative design system. Obviously, from the get-go, it's been recognized that there's some real limitations out there. And I always like to see, and I think this is what you're saying too, Mike, you'd like to see that information included in here where those lines are going to actually go, if in fact they're using lines or elevated mound system or whatever.
Well, it's not just the lines, there's a number of structures that go out
Well,
there too.
yes, true. Well, we have that, we have some of that, but I mean, not so much in relation to where the proposed system is going to be. But I think in this case, and I've seen in some other cases, if they have contacted the county health department and the health department is okay with it, I think they think that they're okay, which,
I'm not questioning whether that would work or not under ideal conditions. I'm concerned about the actual conditions that they're going to encounter. I've not seen anything where they take that and lay that out, put it on there and show how it's going to fit on the site and make sure that it's going to work. If you read the descriptions of what they said, you can't do any work under certain conditions when the groundwater is there. I just think there's some potential for the system not to work because, not because of the design, but because of site conditions.
you can say that with any system, but I don't know, there is preliminary survey work, soil samples, borings, and that type of thing that are done prior to the issuance or denial of any kind of a permit or anything. I didn't know if he was aware of that.
I'm well aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say on that.
Okay, thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think you guys missed the part where he said he bought a whole other parcel across from it.
Yeah, I caught
The
that.
septic's not going on the same lot. It's going on
No,
a
it's
whole
going
separate
across
lot.
the road and on the other
Yeah,
side.
so it's not like he's trying to cram it on there with the house.
Yeah. I'm not sure who she was. Do you want to identify
Erica
yourself for our
Sorry,
minutes?
Erica Brangton.
Erica Bryant.
Thank you. All right, next item on business tonight is docket number 26-VAR-03. This is another request for a setback variance. Whenever you're ready, Kayla.
All right, staff report for Sawyer variance petition, docket number 26-VAR-03, hearing date March 25th, 2026. Petitioner Harold Construction, property owners Charles and Michelle Sawyer. Request is a variance from the rear setback requirement of 25 feet. Ordinance provisions, section 4.6B, standard setbacks of the Brown County zoning ordinance. Location, the property is located at 6862 Gray Wolf Drive, Nineveh in Hamlin Township within the Cortry Sweetwater Conservancy District. The lot is known as SW242 and is located on the west side of Gray Wolf Drive, approximately 940 feet southwest of the intersection with Center Lake Road. Zoning and current land use, the property is zoned Lake Residential LR and has an existing home, garage, and an 80 square foot shed/bar area. General findings. 1, section 4.6B, standard setbacks in the Brown County zoning ordinance and the rules of the Cortry Sweetwater Conservancy District provide that in a residential district, the minimum distance between the rear line of structures and the rear property line should be no less than 25 feet. 2, there's an existing 8-foot by 10-foot shed/bar that sits approximately 14 feet from the property line at the lakeside. The petitioners wish to re-roof the structure and extend the roof to cover the existing stone paver patio. 3, although structures with a floor area of less than 120 square feet are exempt from the requirement of obtaining a building permit, the setback shall still be met. Since the roof is being extended and not just replaced or repaired, this would be considered new construction. 4, the reduced setback extends toward the lake and not toward private property. 5, according to the site plan, all of other setback requirements will remain met. 6, there are many examples of reduced setbacks for pre-existing and for new construction within the Cortry Sweetwater Conservancy District nearby.
Another one to know.
Do you guys want me to read the 3 conditions?
I don't think that's necessary. I think we probably know those.
Okay.
Thank you.
Recommendation, after review, staff finds no evidence that approval of the request to variance will be materially detrimental to other property or uses in the same district or vicinity, since there are many examples of reduced setbacks nearby located both on land and on the water. This is the existing front setback to the garage. This is looking from the deck on the back of the house down toward the shed is the white shed here in the middle.
Oh, yeah, I see.
2 of the same pictures in case you didn't see it the first time.
Thank you.
And then this other square across the lake there is another rear setback that was approved. I didn't get to look to see how close that one was, but it was approved in 2022, so fairly recently. That's the end of the staff report.
Thank you. Any questions for Kayla from the board?
Cards.
23 cards were sent out and 17 were returned to us.
We're doing pretty well tonight. Is petitioner here or petitioner's representative? Don't think so.
No,
Okay.
I don't see them.
That's fine. Well, then I'll bring this back to us on the board to discuss and make a decision about. I personally don't have a problem approving this.
I don't either.
I don't either.
I don't either.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to that effect then.
I'll move that with respect to docket 26-VAR-03, petitioner Harold Construction request variance from the rear setback requirements 25 feet, that variance be approved.
I'll second. Go ahead, Mike.
I'll second.
Motion has been made to approve. Roll call vote, please, Danielle.
Okay. Randy Jones,
Yes.
Jane Gore,
Yes.
John Delzberger,
Yes.
Michael Harrison.
Yes,
Okay. Kayla, you'll notify him?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
and I think that was a record. That was very
Probably
quick.
was. Just shows how fast it goes when nobody shows up.
I don't think we can blame it on them.
So, Dave, before we leave these 2 items, what's your understanding of purpose of setbacks in
Well,
general?
just to create space, fire protection, air, light, that allows light and stuff to get in. So just sort of to create an ambiance or an environment that is pleasant and conducive to residential life enjoyment.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and sometimes for safety. I mean, from your highways, you want to step back a little bit for safety
Right.
purposes as well, but
Yeah, that makes sense.
John, one thing that I'll be looking at, we look at setbacks too, is you're gonna be moving materials and dirt and everything around the site, and you gotta have room to do that, so
yeah.
the setbacks as established will allow you that. Some of these minimum setbacks, you get into problems.
Yeah, I
Or
just,
can't.
yeah, I really do want us to come up with a position on this, because presumably setbacks serve a purpose, or they wouldn't be in both the conservancy rules and our zoning ordinance. And they weren't, it wasn't our intent ever to just say, well, we'll waive a setback anytime you want to build a house that's a little too big for the property. And these are small lots, granted they're oddly shaped. The odd shape might be a hardship, but I don't think the size of the lot's a hardship for me. It's not a special circumstance either when every one of your neighbors has a small lot. So I'm just struggling with our reasoning here, because I'd like to be consistent.
I mean, I'm a new resident here, but it seems to me that when they started building there, more like cabins than what you're building with them now.
Yeah, that existing house we just saw on the first docket is a good example. That's the kind of house that was imagined to be put on this quarter-acre or less lot. It wasn't intended to have a 4-car garage, 4-bedroom home. And
Would we also consider the setbacks? Might have been taken into consideration for expansion?
see, I don't understand Randy explain.
Well, if you're gonna have a setback of 50 feet, 40 feet, whatever, I'm being arbitrary here,
Uh-huh.
that you may have those in there for the possibility of expansion in the future.
For lack of expansion?
No, for possible building, possible expansion of that.
Well,
Oh, to leave empty land between homes for potential expanding those homes in the future without bumping up against each other.
Yes.
but that would need a variance then, if that were the setback, yeah.
I don't think the
Right.
setbacks were intended to, allow room to expand without hitting up against the wall of your neighbor's home. I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
might
that
be-
was their intention. But maybe, I wasn't there.
Well, I think I think you make a good point, and it is something that I'm not comfortable with it. But it seems like there's no really too much rhyme or reason to it. And everything up there is very, and I say up there in that particular location is very
Right.
unique, and the cat's already out of the bag up there.
Yes,
On
yes,
so many things.
absolutely.
So, we're playing catch up on trying to set some policy there on a more of a uniform basis. It's awfully hard to do up there.
Kayla, do you ever hear from the Conservancy when we approve or don't approve one? I don't know if we've ever not approved, maybe once. Do you ever hear from them that, they say, you guys need to pay attention to our rules?
No,
Okay.
Do we have a copy of their rules?
somewhere.
Well, we never really.
I've never seen a copy of their rules.
Okay.
They're in the covenants and I've seen them before. I don't know that I could find them
Okay.
right now.
No,
I
that's
could
fine.
try.
No, that's all right, no. Dave, this question is kind of for you. Yeah. Does one take precedent over the other?
What you are concerned about is the zoning ordinance.
Right.
The quarterly rules are the quarterly rules, and if quarterly wants to enforce those, they'll need to do that on their own.
Yeah, and Corder's rules could be stricter than ours, but they can't be more lax. Isn't that the way it works?
Yes,
Maybe that's a better way of putting it.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And for a lot of these decisions, they defer to us immediately. So if you're gonna get a building permit in the lakes anywhere, and it's within that conservancy district, you have to obtain a permit from our local building department. Take it to their, I think they've got like a one-man show, and then they have a board meeting for construction up there.
So it's really up to them. If theirs is more strict,
I think theirs is the same as ours. They make
Is it?
theirs match
Okay.
ours.
I believe so.
So these have already gone before their board now?
I think they have to be approved here. I wish,
I can tell you.
Oh,
okay, Erica
Okay.
has done variances out there.
Erica, would you like to come to the microphone and so we can get this down for posterity?
You can do it either way, but as a
ma'am,
little.
can I stop you right there?
Yes,
I'm not sure
Erica
who,
Bryanton.
I don't know who you are and who you
Erica
represent.
Bryanton.
Okay, and you're with,
I'm here as an individual today, but I am a construction company that works out at Sweetwater.
okay,
Okay, good.
So you can go either way. You can go before them first or get a permit. But we tell our clients it's best to come here and get your permit or your variance first.
Right.
And then you're pretty much gonna pass the meeting at Quartery. If you guys have already approved it, they generally pass it.
Got it. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, next item of business tonight, docket number 26-SE-02. This is a request for approval of a site plan amendment to an existing tourist home. Or I should say an existing tourist home special exception.
All right, staff report for Ellison Ridge Tourist Home, special exception amendment. Docket number 26-SE-02, hearing date March 25th, 2026. Petitioner and property owner Crystal Green and Ronald Green III. Request is an amendment to the original tourist home special exception 94-SE-03 to add a livestock barn. Ordinance provisions. Brown County Area Board of Zoning Appeals Resolution 202201. Tourist home special exception guidelines and conditions in Chapter 1, Section 2, and Chapter 3, Sections 1 and 4 in the Brown County zoning ordinance. Location, 2477 Lanham Ridge Road, Nashville, in Jackson Township. The driveway to access the tourist home is on the east side of the road, approximately 1,000 feet before the intersection of Lanham Ridge Road and Helmsburg Road. Zoning and current land use. The property is currently zoned R2 and consists of a residence, 2 small guest houses, a barn, and a detached garage. General findings. 1, the home is currently located on 10.195 acres and has 2 active tourist homes. 2, during a meeting held on January 23rd, 1991, the property was approved to allow the existing homes to be rented on a short-term and long-term basis. 3, during a meeting held on February 23rd, 1994, the tourist home, the main house, I believe, was approved to allow 2 guest rooms with a total of 4 guests. 4, the petitioners request to amend the site plan to add a 36 by 36 livestock barn that would be for personal use. 5, the proposed barn would not be for guest use and should have no impact on the operation of the tourist homes. 6, the guest houses on the property that are used as short-term rentals will remain unchanged. Findings of fact. Section 3.1 of the Brown County zoning ordinance authorizes a special exception for this use in the designated district. Findings, tourist homes are allowed in R2 zoning district with special exception approval. Findings, during the original approval on February 23rd, 1994, the petition was granted before Resolution 97-01 tourist home special exception guidelines was in effect. So that's why there were 2 that were allowed on this property. It was pre-ordinance.
Gotcha.
The board may grant a special exception for any use in a district if after a hearing under section 7.2, it finds that, do you want me to read these ones?
Not necessary, thank you.
Staff recommendation, since the special exception exists and there will be no change to the number of guests and no changes to the septic system, staff recommends approval of the site plan amendment to construct a livestock barn on the property. And this is the main house here to the left.
There's the pond, got it.
This is the existing barn here. And the proposed location, you can see the large barn that exists here. Here's the proposed location there.
Got it.
Again, it could be right about here.
Gotcha.
And then I blew this one up to make it a little easier to see, and I think I did it a disservice, because now you really can't do anything with it. But I think the one in the packets look a lot better than,
I thought the graphics were nice, though.
yeah.
It was the prior owner.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, I was gonna stop on the pretty one, but you can't read it.
Okay,
That's the end of the staff report.
okay. Any questions from the board for Kayla?
I have one.
Go ahead.
So in 91, it was approved for 1 short-term and 1 long-term rental, but in 94, it was amended to include, to make 2 short-term rentals. Is that correct?
I believe one of them was approved in 91 to be short-term or long-term. And then in 94, they were, essentially the other one was approved
As
to be
opposed to,
a short-term, yes.
as a short term.
Mhm.
And that was pre...
Pre-tourist home ordinance.
Yeah, in 97 is when the tourist home
Mhm.
guidelines were put into place.
Just checking.
Yeah, and they
That's what I
were looking through old files. There were a lot, it must have been talked about that there was going to be an ordinance
Oh,
in
it was a
97.
rush Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 96, I think I counted like 35 special
Oh
exceptions.
my God.
So people were really getting in there before.
Thank you.
Ken, I was still under general findings, number 2 and number 3, the meetings that are referenced, we're talking planning commission meetings.
No, the BZA meetings.
I'm sorry, BZA meetings,
Mhm.
okay.
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't write that in there, did I?
Okay.
Cards sent out on this?
Yes, 22 cards were sent out and 16 were returned.
Very good. If there's no more questions for Kayla, I know Ms. Green's here. Did you have anything to add to Kayla's report or anything you want to share with us?
Yeah, Crystal Green here, owner. Just a couple things. Just want to make it very clear that this is my primary residence, that I live there all the time. It is a special exception property, but I live there. So this barn is for my family and I in our backyard. And the other thing is, they had the original, or the horse barn burned down a number of years ago, and the Laros has replaced it with a pole barn that's concrete and metal, which really doesn't, serve the livestock purpose that I was interested in, which is why I'm having to construct a new structure, is because the one that was burned down was replaced with one that didn't suit.
Got it.
Yeah, that's really.
Any questions for Ms. Green?
No.
Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna add, I'm the builder.
Yeah.
Plus the barn's gonna be beautiful.
I believe you. You want to go up to the microphone and put that on?
Sure.
All right. Fine. Okay, good. Is there anybody else here tonight that wants to speak in favor of this petition? No, anybody want to speak against it tonight? I don't see anybody, so I'll bring it back to us to talk about. Thoughts?
I think this is fairly simple. I don't see any outstanding issues here for me on this as far as any kind of concerns.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Jane?
I agree. I don't see any problem.
I agree. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve docket number 26-SE-02, which is a request for a site plan amendment to an existing tourist home special exception.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote when you're ready, Daniel.
Randy Jones,
Yes.
Jane Gore,
Yes.
John Dilberger,
Yes.
Michael Harrison.
Yes.
Okay. Your barn, your beautiful barn has been approved.
I want to get that in writing.
She already knows. See you guys. Thank you.
All right. Last item on our agenda tonight is docket number 26-SE-03. This is a request for a special exception to construct a new wastewater treatment plant. We're ready when you are, Kayla.
All right. All right, this is staff report for Helmsburg Regional Sewage District, special exception. Docket number 26-SE-03, hearing date March 25th, 2026. Petitioner and property owners, Helmsburg Regional Sewage District. Request, this is a special exception to allow a public sewage disposal plant. Ordinance provisions, Chapter 3, Sections 1 and 4 in the Brown County Zoning Ordinance. Location, the property is located at 4862 Helmsburg Road, Nashville, in Jackson Township. The site is on the west side of Helmsburg Road, approximately 700 feet south of the intersection of Helmsburg Road and the railroad tracks. Zoning and current land use, the property is zoned secondary residential R2 and floodplain FB. The current treatment plant and a driveway exists. Oh, I think I skipped ahead. There we go. General findings. 1, the combined parcels consist of approximately 2.107 acres. 2, there's an existing wastewater treatment plant approved under docket number 95-SE-16 on August 24th, 1995. This plant is in danger of imminent failure. 3, this petition requests a special exception to allow construction of a new wastewater treatment plant to replace the existing treatment plant. 4, if the petition is approved, the existing plant will be decommissioned once the replacement plant is functional. 5, the planned site will consist of the following. A lift station and screening structure, 52 feet by 20 feet. B, sledge handling blower and electric building, 60 feet by 50 feet. C, UV channel and post aeration, 40 feet by 15 feet. And D, aeromod structure, 45 feet by 35 feet. 6, the setbacks measured from the closest point of the plant are to the north 30 feet, south 95 feet, east 158 feet, and west 63 feet. 7, sewage disposal plants are exempt from the necessity of a design release from the state of Indiana. Plants such as this can be permitted locally. 8, Brown County Water Utility provides water service to the area and has confirmed that service could be provided for the requested improvements. 9, the existing driveway would be utilized, and in a letter dated February 12th of 2026, the Jackson Township Fire Department states that the driveway is considered acceptable as it meets the department's minimum width standards, does not exceed 10% grade, and is clear of power lines and low-hanging limbs. 10, adequate parking will be provided and will include any required ADA accessible spaces. 11, the statement of request states that the setbacks are unable to be met due to the limited buildable area. Other than the size of the site, the area is further limited by the following considerations: regulatory floodway, existing utility corridors, required discharge routing, and site topography. 12, currently there is a residence approximately 395 feet east of the existing plant. The new plant will be shifted further west, giving that residence a significantly larger setback of approximately 590 feet. To the north and west, the lot is surrounded by approximately 28 acres that is privately owned. South of the lot consists of approximately 40 acres of mostly floodway property that is also privately owned. Findings of fact: the board may grant a special exception for a use in a district if after section 7.2 it finds that 1, section 3.1 of the Brown County zoning ordinance authorizes a special exception for this use in the designated district. Findings: public sewage disposal plants are allowed in secondary residential R2 and floodplain FP districts with special exception approval. 2, the requirements for special exceptions prescribed by this ordinance will be met. Findings: the minimum parking and entrance requirements will be met. While no minimum lot size requirements is indicated by the ordinance, the size of this lot exceeds the lot size of the current plant. Ordinance provisions: 4.9, setbacks, uses requiring special exceptions, public or commercial sewage disposal plant. Findings: the existing wastewater treatment plant is located on a much smaller parcel that does not meet the minimum setback. Findings: the minimum setbacks of 300 feet on all sides will not be met. However, the location within a sizable area of privately owned property and the adjacent floodway district to the south help mitigate the shortfall. Ordinance provision 4.11, entrances. B, each of the following uses for which special exceptions are prescribed by section 3.1 may be limited to 1 entrance: public or sewage commercial disposal plant. Findings: the proposal specifies just 1 entrance. Ordinance provision 4.12, parking. C, parking shall be provided as follows: for public or commercial sewage disposal plant, required spaces, 1 per employee per shift. Findings: the plan includes adequate parking spaces. Summary: the board must determine whether granting of the exception with the reduction in actual setback allowances will or will not subvert the general purposes and served by the ordinance, or materially and permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. Here's the existing plant. And then approximate location of the new plant. Looking north from the existing.
Kayla, would you go back a moment?
Mhm.
So this is to the north. Okay. Gotcha. All right, thanks.
This is the view to the east, which is toward Helmsburg Road.
Okay.
View to the south. Looking north toward the railroad tracks in Helmsburg from the driveway. South from the driveway. And in this map, the red is floodway and the green is the flood fringe areas.
Got it.
And then this is the site plan that you all have too. I did try to make this one a little bit bigger. Again, I may have done a disservice to, I don't know if my eyes are getting worse or,
I'm going to defer to Mike and Randy to decipher that.
okay.
Well, I need a pair of binoculars, but we'll try it.
And that's the end of the staff report.
Thank you. Any questions from the board for Kayla?
I do. Sorry, Caleb.
Hmm?
Under general findings, number 7, sewage disposal plants are exempt from the necessity of a design release from the state of Indiana. Plants such as this can be permitted locally. What are you referencing there? I mean, is that, what did you get that information? How did you? 'Cause this-
So from both the engineer that I believe is, yes, that is here today, and from Lonnie Farley, the building commissioner.
Okay, because that kind of surprised me.
Yes,
So, all right,
it surprised me as well.
yeah.
Kayla or Dave, do you have any idea why such large setback requirements are written into our ordinance for a wastewater treatment plant?
I wouldn't want one next door.
Well, that may be it. I'm just wondering if there's other reasons I don't know about.
I don't know the reason.
I think it's local preference.
Local preference, I like that. Okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, so who's here representing the petitioner tonight? Yes, sir.
I'm Kyle Myers. I'm the Vice President and Treasurer on the Helmsburg Regional Sewer District Board. I said what you guys were asking about the large setbacks. I think a big part of that has to go with they don't want us building a plant right up against somebody's house. Because, I mean, there is noises that come from it, smells occasionally, that kind of thing. So I think that's why there's the large setbacks. And thinking that if property lines were right up against each other, in this case, really our property or our direct neighbor is a pasture land that they raise cattle in. So,
Gotcha.
otherwise, like Caleb mentioned in the report, our current plant's going on 30 years old. Its life expectancy was only about 20 to 25 years. It is rapidly creating holes or rusting holes in the side of the plant that we are trying to band-aid and fix and patch to keep basically raw sewage from spilling out on the ground, and also trying to keep our plant running and operating so that we're meeting limits and not discharging, sewage to Bean Blossom Creek. So this new plant we've been working on for a good 5 years since I've been on the board, trying to get a new plant design and in place and funded. So I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Any questions from the board?
What type of plant? Is this a small package plant? Is it a package treatment plant, or are you using a different type of design?
The existing plant was a package treatment plant. This
Okay.
new plant is what they call an aeromod system. So it's actually more of a what you think of as a commercial system of, you know, something that like Nashville or something like that would use. We've also been working with Brown County Regional Sewer District from the standpoint of like, the current plant we're going to build now is going to handle our flows, but it's easily expandable so that way when they're working on designs and plans for like the Dean Blossom area or Lake Lemon areas, and then the plan would be that they're going to send that flow to us to be treated in the future. So rather than putting in a package plant that has a kind of a short life expectancy to it, we're trying to actually build something that's going to be more robust and easily expandable to accommodate more flows.
Okay, okay. So it will have built-in expansion capability in terms of gallons coming into it if you need to.
Yes.
Okay. And also, where was your, the receiving stream, where are you discharging to?
To Dean Blossom Creek.
You're discharging to Bean Blossom Creek?
Correct. Currently, and we're using the same discharge for the new plant.
Well, I'm sorry, oh, the same one, okay, you're not changing that all,
No.
okay. Are you guys under, are you just being preemptive because it's so old, or are you actually under an item order too?
We're not under an item order, but we've been able to kind of keep our inspector at bay, letting him know that we're working on something actively. So, I mean, that could happen at any point in time. I mean,
Okay.
you know, earlier this month, I was out there helping our operator patch a hole in the side of the tank with literally Flex Seal and an old street sign. I mean, we're at that point, like, we almost can't keep dating this thing. It's gonna die. It's gonna fail itself.
Yeah,
So,
it's service time.
it is.
Can I ask have you purchased this property, or is it contingent on something, or?
We already purchased that property. We purchased it through the county commissioners with ARPA funds that they had given us back in 2021, I believe.
Okay. So- And have you raised funds to do this? Or, I mean, I guess this really isn't a question.
At this point in time, we did receive some ARPA funds from the county that helped us get through design. We did get a forgivable loan from State Revolving Fund, or IFA, to do the further design, at least to get us to the point we're at. We're standing here right now with bid-ready plans. We've gotten all of our permitting from IDEM. We've gotten it from Army Corps of Engineers for construction in the floodplain, and we've done environmental reports and everything on the property, the whole 9 yards. So you guys are kind of our last hopeful check box where we can go to State Revolving Fund. They've told us right now they have funding available to us to be able to construct this plant. And we're trying to get through all of our boxes so that we can go to them to say, we're ready to bid, to where hopefully we will break ground actually this year.
Were there any I&I studies along with this for infiltration inflow? Or did it include that at all?
We did. We had a flow meter put on the inlet end of our treatment plant at one point in time to kind of monitor our flows, because what we were recording at our plant was a lot lower than what the state makes us plan for. So we put a flow meter on the plant to, you know, a separate one to kind of monitor that, and it was actually kind of matching the flows that we were seeing going through our plant that we report on already. So we do have I&I problems. I mean, when we get really big rains, you know, we get some, you know, our plant ramps up a little bit. So, right.
So, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Michael, any questions?
No.
Thank you. Is there anybody here tonight who wants to speak in favor of this petition? Yes, ma'am.
Erica Bryanton. As a resident of Helmsburg, my husband and I are also responsible for about 10 to 15% of the sewer bills for the Helmsburg Sewer District. So obviously this is extremely important to us. We cannot have a failing sewer plant. I'm sure you are familiar with the residents in Helmsburg. Septic systems are not an option. And if our plant fails, we will be in trouble. I think also just in reference to the setbacks, I know the property line, the actual ownership of that acreage, I'm familiar with it because I did help with the purchase of it. And that is the only thing they're gonna get that is not intrusive to the rest of the neighborhood, but those setbacks come naturally because the surrounding property is floodway. You're not gonna end up with a subdivision right up against this sewer plant. So it comes naturally, even though it is a separately owned parcel, it's not a parcel that they're going to be building on. So being away from homes, you're gonna get that naturally.
That's true on that bare land to the north. That's not buildable land.
Well, I mean, it's floodway, flood fringe. I mean, it's gonna be very unlikely that you're gonna get that adjusted to be buildable. So, and I don't, there's just not really any other property in our area that would not be intrusive to the heel of all the other homes. So I would ask that you do approve this location. We've already gone through the efforts of securing this extra property. They're probably not gonna get it anywhere else. So I do ask that this be approved in its location.
All right, I think I understand. If I could paraphrase, you're saying that there aren't actual setbacks from property lines, but there are virtual setbacks from any structures that might be built.
Exactly. And its current location, it is nicely blocked from most of Helmsburg. I mean, you don't really notice it when you're driving around, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else who just wants to speak in favor of this petition? How about anybody who wants to speak against this petition? Okay, I'm going to bring it back to us to make a decision on.
Kayla, how many cards were sent out on this?
8 cards were sent and 6 were returned to us.
John, normally we're required to determine whether if we approve something, if it materially injures anybody in the uses. I think in this case, we're looking to see if denying this damages, and I think that's definitely the case. There's obviously no other option here. If you were to try to find some other parcel, obviously it's not one close, you got all kinds of costs to do that, and time and everything else. And I just don't think there's any other choice other than to approve this.
Okay. Jane or Randy?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's located geographically, it's located properly because of the floodway and all that around it. Even though they don't own all of that, it prevents any, it's a barrier, a natural barrier.
When I moved here in 2018, I rented a home on Main Street in Helmsburg. And I, of course, traveled that road back and forth any number of times a day. It was months before I realized where that wastewater treatment plant was.
I drove by it trying to get to the location. I had the address in my GPS and drove right by it.
Yeah, my dad lived up there about a block from this place for several years, and I never knew it was there.
Well, that says something.
Proof enough.
We want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And I was surprised, sorry, a little bit off topic, I was surprised about how quiet it was out there. I had never gone to one of these plants like this before, but it was very quiet.
Kyle, how's the new one going to compare? Will it be bigger, brighter, noisier, whatever? I mean, will it be more visible from the road?
It may be a little more visible just because it'll be a little bit bigger, but actually, even like Kayla said, it's very minimal sounds that you hear, and really the only sound you hear is an air blower. And right now, currently, it sits on top of our plant and out in the open. With the new plant, there's actually going to be a building, and those blowers will be inside the building. So I mean, it should in theory even be quieter than what it is now when it's not really that loud.
What about brighter? You're not gonna put 50,000 floodlights on it?
Oh, no, we don't want to advertise that it's out there for anybody to go to. So.
I do have a follow-up question for the petition.
Yes, go ahead.
With respect to the sludge, how do you manage that?
Currently, it's hauled, and it's hauled down here to Nashville.
down to the plant down
to the
here?
plant in Nashville.
And you just add to their sludge lagoons down there, is that what you're doing, or?
Yeah, but they've recently gotten a new sludge handling process down here at the plant. So we have an agreement with Nashville Utilities that they are basically allowing us to haul our sludge down there. For this first phase of this plant that we're doing for just us, it's going to continue that same way. We're going to continue to haul the sludge to Nashville. When we accept more flow from Brown County RSD and that, at some point in time when we go to future phases, we will actually, that building that's going to house our blowers is already suited to house the sludge handling process. So once we kind of get to that point of a break even in a sense of, it's starting to cost more money to haul it, then we'll actually have our own process to handle it there.
Okay, well, the reason I asked that was before, if you were doing a land application for the sludge, so it sounds like you're not, so.
No.
You haven't, okay.
Even with the new sludge handling process, it would be dried up enough that we can put it in the dumpster and then it can be hauled away.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks.
I don't see anything here that would subvert the general
It's badly
purpose of our
needed.
ordinance.
No, in fact, I think
and
denying this request would subvert the purpose of our ordinance. One of the main purposes of zoning ordinance is to protect the health and welfare of the residents of the county. And,
Well, anything to improve the water quality, I think is a good move, and hopefully this will do that.
That old plant's been in bad repair for many years.
yes,
There's a lot of them all over the state of Indiana.
okay, all right. Then I'd entertain a motion. If anybody wants to make one.
I move to approve docket number 26 SC03 for a special exception to allow a public sewage disposal plant.
I'll second that. Roll call vote, Danielle, please.
Jane Gore,
Yes.
John Zellberger,
Yes.
Michael Harrison,
Yes.
Randy Jones.
Yes.
All right, your request is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope the weather cooperates with you. Dave or Kayla or Danielle, did you have any announcements or updates for us?
None.
Okay, that's good.
Next month, we've got 3 special exceptions, 1 new tourist home and 2 tourist home site plan amendments.
Oh, okay. All right, that's a manageable docket.
Yep.
All right, then
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I would.
I move that we adjourn.
All right, I'll second that motion. Danielle, roll call vote to adjourn when you're ready.
Okay. John Zellberger,
Yes.
Michael Harrison,
Yes.
Randy Jones,
Yes.
Jane Gore.
Yes.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
See you later.
All right.